Now we will see that how this example is working. Please keep that in mind, that how we have built the tree. Okay, just see this one. This is having the training data set, and it is having this kind of features like age, income, student, credit rating, right? So this, based on these four features, we are going to take decision whether that customer is going to buy computer or not. Okay, see here that this is the resulting decision tree. I am not going to get into the details because we know how to select the root node. What we are going to do, we have to find out the information gain of each and every node, that is age, income, and student, and credit rating. And based on that, we have, if you just work on with this example, you can see here that this gain of information, gain of age is 0.246, for income it is 0.029, for student it is 0.151, and for credit rating it is 0.048. so you can see here that if you just try it of your own, you know the formula and all, and this age is having the highest information gain, so we are going to start splitting from the age only. Okay, so we have developed the decision tree accordingly. Fine. Now we were talking of information gain, right? And you have seen that whatever we have done everything for our discrete values, right? Now here just we will just learn the theory that if we have to consider a continuous valued attribute, right? How we are going to find out the best split, means where we are going to split for it, right? So that is, there is a formula of or there is a technique of doing it for the continuous valued attribute as well. So that is, if a continuous valued attributes are given, we are going to sort my attribute in increasing order, and we are going to find out the midpoint between each pair of values, each pair of adjacent values, right? See, if two adjacent values are namely a1 and a1 plus ai and ai plus 1, so we have to find out the mid value of it, and we will keep on splitting on that. Okay, so this is just a theory because we were talking of discrete values only. Mainly decision tree will work on discrete values. Still, if we have to do it for continuous valued attribute, we have to map somehow to it, to the discrete value. So we have to calculate based on the midpoint. Fine. Okay, now here one more algorithm is there called C4.5. It's a successor of ID3. Instead of just sticking to information gain, right? We were talking of information gain, and we have seen that whenever my information gain is highest, we used that node for just splitting it. Okay, you can see here there is a biasness, right? So what it is doing, whenever say if we are having one attribute named say Aadhaar card, right? You can see here it will do what? It will have, so all the values will be unique, right? So all the values will be unique. So you can see, irrespective of considering any other attribute, it might have helped us in taking correct decision. We will always consider Aadhaar card because its information gain will be highest, because say there are total 5 persons and 5 different choices will be there for Aadhaar card, so entropy of each of the choices will be 0, and information gain of the Aadhaar card will always be highest, right? So here, instead of considering just the information gain, we are going to do what? We are going to consider the gain ratio, so it will be much more effective. Okay, and to do it, we have to normalize the value. We have learned how to normalize the value. Okay, now here just look at this example of buying computer. Okay, just stick to income part. Just see, income can be of 3 types. It can be high, it can be medium, it can be low. Just see how many highs are there. 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? How many lows are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and medium is 6. Okay, so high 4, medium 6, and low 4. So here splitting on based on the income. So here the split information, to find it off the gain ratio, you have to find out the split information. So split information is what? See, income can be of three types. So 4 out of 14 is for low, 6 out of 14 is for medium, and 4 out of 14 is for high. So we have this is for DJ, that is a value, how many values out of the total values is holding for a particular choice. Okay, so using this formula we have calculated the split information, and gain ratio will be what? The gain what we have calculated of means the gain of a particular attribute, that is for this the gain of income. If you just move on to the previous slide, what was the gain of income? It was 0.029. okay, the gain of income was 0.029. so gain ratio will be 0.029 divided by the split information. Fine. So here we are going to use that attribute only whose gain ratio is highest, rather than whose gain is highest. Okay, now see, one more kind of attribute selection technique is available called Gini, and this is useful. We have to it helps in reduction, it helps to reduce in means it is more an accurate technique, and it is based on the relative frequency in the class. Okay, let's see how it works. Here what we are doing, we are having total 9 tuples in the example of buying a computer. Okay, and here total 9 means 9 tuple is saying that okay, buying computer is yes, and 5 are saying no, total 14 values. So here if we have to find out the Gini of the total d number of values, it will be like this: 1 minus just remember that we are focusing on the relative frequency. Okay, so relative frequency, if you just see the formula, it is 1 minus the summation of all the probability of occurrence of each and square of it. Okay, so it is we are trying to find out the relative frequency, because the total maximum probability of anyone's occurrence can be 1. That's why. And what is the chances of selecting that attribute can be just calculated by it. We can find out by just finding the probability of it, and if we have to calculate the relative frequency, we are going to subtract that value from 1 only. Okay, so here, so chances of buying the computer is 9 and not buying 5. So if we have to sum it off, so it will be 9 by 14 whole square and then plus 5 by 14 whole square, and it was totally 1 minus all, and so it will be like this, and it is coming to 0.459. Now what we are going to do, we have to find out the Gini index of a particular value, particular attribute. What we are doing here, instead of just see whatever we have seen gain ratio, we were not grouping of the values, or we are not partitioning the values in the groups as per my need. We were just partitioning whatever the different values are there, we were partitioning. Just see here what we are doing, we are just classifying that income group into 2 different groups as per my requirement. We are grouping one as low, medium, and other high. But if we had to stick to this gain ratio, we have to classify this into 3 categories: low, medium, and high. But we are not doing so. We are trying to generate a model that if someone's income is low and medium, we are classifying them as a one class, and we are separating the high income person in the other class. Okay, so this low, medium, if you just remember that data set, there are 6 persons with medium income and 4 persons with low income, so it is coming to 6 plus 4, that is 10, and high income is 4. That's why see, for low medium group, 10 by 14 multiplied by Gini of D1, that is for the low medium group, and for the rest is for the high. Okay, now out of this 10 value, that is either the income is low or the income is medium, if you just follow the training set, just go back to the chart and verify it once, the chances of purchasing the computer or not purchasing is either 7 and the other is 3. Just verify it, which one is 7 and which one is 3. So if we just plug it and finding out the relative frequency of this Gini D1, we have to do it. So we can calculate it and we can do it for D2 as well, and it is coming to 0.443. Okay, so now the Gini of low high, just try to find out that what is the Gini of low high. Similarly, you have to classify one group as low high and the other group as medium. So if you do it, you will find it to be 0.458, and for medium high we have calculated, we have not calculated again. For medium high you have to calculate, it will be 0.45. so out of these 3 you can find which one is the highest, and instead of using the highest value, here we are going to pick up the lowest value. Okay, so Gini index, why? Because why we are picking up the lowest value? Because here we are finding out the relative frequency. So the whose relative or whose difference is minimal, so it is carrying the maximal information, right? So that's why we are going to split on the lowest Gini index. Okay, here all the attributes are assumed to be continuous valued. Okay, so you can do it for continuous valued attribute as well without finding the mid values. You can directly apply it. So if we have to compare this 3 kind of attribute selection, so you can see information again is biased towards multi-valued attribute, which I was talking of. If any one of the attribute is like Aadhaar card, where all the informations are unique, so it will always generate the highest information gain for that attribute. So it is somehow biased, right? Gain ratio, it tends to prefer unbalanced splits in which one partition is much smaller than the other. But Gini index, it is biased to multi-valued attribute, and it is difficult whenever the number of classes is large, because you have to pair each and everyone, you have to find out different combinations among them. So it will be a difficult one, but it results, it is more accurate. Okay, Gini index, we can apply it for small data set. These are the other attribute selection measures present, but we are not going to get into the details of it. If you are interested, you may go through the ebook which I have shared with you. Okay, so these are the 2 more important technique or rather important characteristics of a decision tree. One is overfitting, and we will see how to prune this decision tree and what is the need of pruning. Okay, overfitting is what? It's an induced means in this overfitting, an induced tree may overfit the training data. So here you can see that the possibility of selecting more features is it is the possibility is maximal here, right? So here instead of discarding most of the features, we are just taking off the most of the features for building up the model. You can see here, whenever we will learn more other classifications techniques, we will learn Bayes classifier, we will learn support vector machine, we will learn neural network, right? So there you will see that this overfitting can be abolished there, right? So but in case of decision tree, for making the model more accurate and more accurate, we are just keeping on, we are selecting the attributes mostly rather than rejecting it. You can see in the example of playing tennis, we have used 3 attributes out of 4, we have just discarded the 1. So using of much more, or using this much of dimension of data, we have seen this for only 4 dimensional data, but there can be n dimensions, there can be 10 dimensional data, there can be 20 dimensional data. So if we just keep more features to train our model, sometimes the model is prone to accept the outliers. Outliers means those which are actually not fitting accurate for my model, or which my model is not going to accept in actuality, but it will accept it wrongly, right? So it will just provoke us to take the wrong path. So this overfitting is a problem for this kind of attribute selection. Okay, so to avoid this overfitting, we take two approaches. One is called pre-pruning, another is called post-pruning, right? What we are doing here in case of pre-pruning, just see, the name itself is suggesting that we have to discard the nodes. Means whenever we are building the tree on the go, we may stop splitting, right? So what it is doing, say if we just keep on threshold, and if that whenever say we have kept a threshold for say information gain, okay, if the information gain of a particular node cannot reach this value, we are not going to split on that node. So say after 2 or 3 splits, whenever we are going to fit one more attribute or one more feature there, my feature, when we have calculated the information gain for all the other remaining features, and none of the features can satisfy my minimal threshold value, so we are not going to split anymore, we have to stop there. So that means my data or the features are not so important, right? So we may not fit those features to my model to train my model, right? So if it cannot qualify a particular information gain, that means okay, fine, out of say 7 remaining values, one of them may have the highest information gain, but still if it cannot pass my minimal threshold level, we are not going to select it, we are not going to keep that feature to train my model. So this is the pre-pruning. Okay, post-pruning is mainly this is most oftenly used after building the total tree, we may discard it. Okay, so how it is done? So here, instead of using the total choice, we will just cut it off and put the most frequent class. We will see one example. Okay, here in our in the next slide, see this one. This is a fully grown tree. Now you can see here for the rightmost branch, instead of total choices, that whether we are going to fit A3 then A5, okay, the situation may be like this, that okay, we have seen that class B is the most frequently occurred class. Okay, so instead of just studying this one, instead of just comparing this one again and again, we have just discarded the branch, we have just pruned it, and we have kept class B here. So this is a post pruning. This is most oftenly used. Now these are the enhancements to the basic decision tree. We have allowed it for continuous attribute. We have seen this. If we have to map it for continuous attribute, we have to find a midpoint, and we can move in the same manner as the decision tree proceeds. Handle missing value attributes, and if we are having in the training data set, say we are having some values, we have not got any value, okay, for a particular data item. So what we are going to do, instead of stopping my building my model there, we are going to find out which is the most whose frequency of occurrence is highest in the data set, and we are going to put that value in the missing attribute value. Okay. Other is attribute construction. Here we can create new attributes based on the existing ones, and if we can using the originally available attributes, if we can come up with a new attribute using my original data, here it may reduce repetition, replication. Okay, say we are having say two different, both age and date of birth. Okay, so if we can using in somewhere date of births are present, somewhere ages are present, somewhere both are present. So using that two attributes, we can we thought of just sticking to date of birth. Okay, so using that two different attributes, we are just sticking to one. Or say you may in one attribute current date is given, in other attribute date of birth is given, and using that too we can find out the age directly and then discard that current date and the date of birth. So we can build one new attribute using the or original original attributes which are there in the data set. And why this is decision tree is popular? For this reason, this is relatively faster learning algorithm, and it can be convertible to simple and easy understand classification rules. It can be used for SQL queries, and it can be comparable classification accuracy with other methods. It is accurate, but still we are going to learn other techniques as well. So in the next class we are going to learn one more technique called Bayes classifier. Thank you.